So my original intent was to do a couple of gameplay videos of me playing the DLC live, but my computer decided to pin the tail on my ass and I corrupted like the last like 4 hours of gameplay. So I guess I'm not doing that. Instead, I'll do a review of it like the last one I did for the actual game. So, and that one did pretty well. So I guess I should start off by saying that I, like everyone else, did not really like the original game. So in preparation for this DLC, I started leveling a Zane character who I've never actually played because I mistakenly took Moze for a fun character to play when the game first came out. But it was on this playthrough though that I realized just how stupid the writing in this game is. So the first vault in Promethea, right? The whole premise is that you have the key to the vault. The Calypsos don't have the key to the vault. The only way the Calypsos can get into the vault is if you give them the key. And the first thing that happens when you get to this site where the vault is the Calypsos literally tell you they're already there. And all your characters who are all like seasoned killers, and even Zane, who's like an ex-assassin, not one of them think, hey dog, this might be a trap. And what really sucks, and really what is the result of all this doggy writing, is that Maya had to die. And not only was she one of the people to take down Handsome Jack, but she's also a siren, one of 6. Which makes her an extremely important character to the story. Then right after her death, we figure out the next destination is on Eden 6. And then the Calypsos come on and they tell you, hey dog, see you at the next vault, which totally doesn't rhyme with Schmeaton 6. And in the most Game of Thrones, brain-dead fucking dipshit writing I have ever seen in my life, we actually go to Eden 6. And we don't get our shit pushed in for some miracle. So naturally, my expectations for this DLC were pretty much non-existent. I did play the casino one with Handsome Jack, but I only really liked it because of Handsome Jack himself. Like the voice actor that does Handsome Jack, he's insane. Like he doesn't sound like he's in a studio with like headphones on and like all this equipment and people watching him. He just sounds like he's just talking on the phone with his friend. The guy is sick. But this DLC is yikes. So if you take the Handsome Jack nostalgia out of the first one, you see that the Beavis and Butthead writing comes back. You have to get a crew together, and then that you have to go around and meet all these other people, and all of them say that they'll join your crew if you do a certain thing, if you do a task for them. Every single one, it's the exact same for each one, and it's like 5 people. That's the entire DLC. Which, again, is the most basic fucking writing. Then they'll show you a montage of the crew actually executing the plan, and you don't even get to play it. You just get to watch a montage of it happening. And then after that, all you have to do is just go in and then just play the boss fight, and that's it, you're done. At least I only had to be subject to the Game of Thrones writing for like 2 hours. It was pretty short, at least. This wedding DLC was so fucking long. I don't usually notice bad level design because I just don't know that much about it. This one had me shook though. Like there's a level in here that's like in a library or something, and I shit you not, I was in this one mission for like an hour. So you were supposed to retrieve these like holotapes, right? That gave you the backstory of the villains, and there were 3 of them. But each one of them was in a different branch of this building, and to get to them you had to go through like 3 or 4 rooms filled with 20 enemies each. And the enemies in this DLC are just complete bullet sponges. So you had to go through that 3 times. It was just cancer. It was so cancer. It took so fucking long. It was just clearly one of those things where they're artificially extending the length of the missions. Like there's a whole branch of the story that does not need to exist in it at all. It's when you meet this Ista dude. There's a door that's blocked with magical ice, and in order to get through it, you need the testicles of a Wendigo. I wish I was joking. So you go in, right, and you follow the Wendigo's trail, right, and then you get to its lair, but it's not there. Bars. Now you have to lure the Wendigo out, and for that you need to gather 3 ingredients. Now you have to take that back to the lair you found and place it there. Wrong. That's actually not the real lair. The real lair is in a completely different place where you actually get to fight the damn thing. You get its balls, you take it back to the wall where you sacrifice them to fucking Aphrodite or whatever it is, and you pass by the door and you realize you could have just gone a ladder and gone over it because it's really not that tall. This DLC took me 6 hours to beat. Just main missions too, because I was specifically trying to avoid playing for 6 hours straight. But again, all of this is just gameplay. And like I said, I don't usually complain about gameplay unless it's really bad. My bigger thing is the story, right? I'm not gonna talk specifically this DLC because I'm sure you can tell by now, it wasn't good. A lot of story threads that never went anywhere, themes that trailed off, and interesting backstories that we actually got but couldn't focus on because the story had to move on to something else. It's exactly like the main game. I want to talk about the overall story and why I think these DLCs are even worse for it and more concerning for the future too. So I bought the Battle Pass because before the game even released, Gearbox said that not all of the characters we knew would be returning in the main game and instead would show up in DLC. So I was under the impression that since the characters are so important to the story, the DLC would also therefore be important to the story. My problem, at least so far, is that they're not. There's also this like weird negligence to address character backstories in the like. I don't understand that at all. Like in the main game, it was with Reese, right? When you talk to Reese, he tells you like, "Oh, I opened up a vault once. A lot has happened, but maybe I'll tell you some other time." They do the same thing here with Gaige, actually, who is the Mechromancer from Borderlands 2. She says like, "Oh, a lot has happened in the last couple years. I'll tell you about it later." Like that just makes me think they don't have anything ready, and that's scary, man. Like, but again, I expected the DLC to actually matter, to be pieces of like the larger puzzle that is Borderlands 4. Because in Borderlands 3, they wrote themselves into a beautiful corner that I know is gonna be a shit show. Now, the casino DLC you could say was actually decently important because it ends with Moxie owning a large portion of Handsome Jack's fortune. Not only that, now we freed Timothy Lawrence, not Tomothy, what the fuck, aka Jack's doppelganger, right? And that means there's essentially another Handsome Jack just walking around. There's nothing really that important that happens in the marriage DLC. It's not like Hammerlock and Jacobs being married changes anything, or like their heir could do some crazy shit. I mean, they can't have heirs anyway. But, I mean, actually, the most important thing that almost happened was that they almost killed Mechromancer's robot. It was actually so funny. I wish I had the recording, dog. Gaige was like freaking out. She was like crying, and I was just sitting there like, he's not dead. He's not dead. Then Zane comes in and he says some shit like, "I'm sorry, lass, I couldn't save him." And I was just like, dude, just check his pulse. He's not dead. But they actually did a smart thing. They fake you out because they kept him dead for like a minute or two. And so to make you actually believe that maybe he was dead. But the entire time I was just like, these writers don't have the balls. Like, dude, I wish I had the gameplay. It's so funny. I was like, these writers don't have the balls to kill Deathtrap. They could never. These writers could never. And what do you know? Surprise bitch, 2 seconds later, he gets up and just one-shots everything. I really wish I had it, dude. It's so funny. I mean, yeah, all of these things just spell trouble for the future. Like, since they neglected these characters in Borderlands 3, they're gonna have to make them fit in Borderlands 4. And I cannot imagine a scenario in which that ends up in a good story. If they were trying to avoid character clutter in this game, then the next one's gonna be even worse. Unless they do the thing they do in this game where they don't address important aspects of the story and characters because they're too lazy or just don't have a clue on how to do it. Either way, my expectations are set very low for Borderlands 4. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.